Hi everyone, today I'm going to show you how to do different types of tie-dye designs, and we are going to be using a white t-shirt. So we have our shirt and we have our rubber bands. I'm going to show you 4 different designs. The first one I'm going to do is stripes. And if you want to do vertical stripes, you need to bunch it this way. Or if you want to do horizontal stripes, you need to bunch it this way, which is what I'll show you how to do. So all you're doing is taking your shirt and trying to crumple it up into as much of a straight line as you can, including those sleeves. And then you'll take your rubber band and you will put your rubber band along your t-shirt in different sections. So every section you make is going to give us a spot to put a different color for a stripe. And you want to take your rubber band and try to wrap it twice around your shirt. Try to keep it in that straight line as much as you can so that the shirt stays bunched up so it'll make those really cool stripes. And it does get a little scary because you have to wrap the rubber band around such a long part of the shirt, but it is going to be fine, I promise. The rubber bands sometimes break, even for me, but the rubber band's most important job is to hold the shirt in that design. It does give us space to put the dye, but the most important part is keeping the shirt the way it needs to look. And you're going to lose some rubber bands, it's going to be all right. And this is a very long design, so for it to fit in our bag, you're going to need to fold it in half, and we will unfold it when we go to dye it. The second design I'm going to show you is very similar. It's called a bullseye. So we're going to make bands like stripes, but we're going to start in the middle. Try to grab as close to the middle as you can. Pick up your shirt so that it folds kind of like a napkin you see at fancy restaurants. You know what I'm talking about. You can take your rubber band and start making your sections just like your stripes. So this first one is the middle of the shirt, so it makes a circle, and that's what makes the next circles bigger and bigger and bigger. So just like with the stripes, you're just going down. Another rubber band lost to the void. Going down and making more sections. If you have a smaller rubber band and a bigger shirt, you may only have to do once, but I like to try to do twice if I can, just to make sure it holds that design. Because that's what the rubber bands are really doing, is making sections for us to put colors, but most importantly, it's holding the shirt together in that design. And this one also, if you need to bend it to get into the bag, that's totally fine. We will still dye it just the same. The next 2 designs are my favorite because you get so many cool ways to do this, and they always end up looking a little different. So this one is called the crinkle, and you're literally just taking your hands and bunching up your shirt. It really doesn't matter how you do this, you're just scrunching it towards the middle. Make it as small as you can. And again, it really doesn't matter where the rubber bands go because your rubber bands are just holding the shirt in this design. So I find it easier to hold it with one hand and stretch the rubber band across. I like to still keep one hand on there until I get a couple more rubber bands on, just to make sure it holds its shape. And you see how this is staying flat? Try to scrunch it back in, and maybe that's where our next rubber band goes. And I hold it with one finger while I stretch it across. And we get another one. I'm going to do one more just to make sure all of these stay together. Now if you look, on the other side it looks totally different. So if you see anything that still looks like it's flat, you can adjust those rubber bands to make sure everything's being held nicely together. And you can put this in your bag and it'll be ready to go. The last design is the classic, the spiral, which we all love but can be hard to master. So just like with the bullseye, you're gonna try to find the center of the shirt as close as you can, and you're gonna pinch it, but you're gonna twist your hand so that it starts making that spiral in the middle. And you can keep, you see how it made little pockets where my fingers were? I can keep putting my fingers there and twisting. And then I'm gonna start using my other hand to wrap it around, while still holding that middle still. And some of it's just not gonna wanna stay, it's gonna keep flopping. That's where our rubber bands come in. So just like I did with the crinkle, I'm gonna pick a spot, I'm gonna hold it with one hand, pull that rubber band across, try to settle it in the back. We'll fix it in just a second. And it's starting to crinkle itself up. We will also fix that when we have more rubber bands on there and it's more secure. I'm gonna start up here, I'll fold that one in, and I'm scooping these along to make sure it's following the same shape. Same thing, I see that this one here is not quite there, so I'm gonna scoop it along so that it follows the spiral. Add another one. Maybe I can adjust it this way. And last one. If you need to add more, you absolutely can. If you lose one, it's also fine. Just want to make sure that all of those ends are as tucked in as they can get. All right. Ooh. And it's hard to see the spiral in there, but I promise it's there. Like if you turn it over, you can still see it. And again, you can adjust as needed. So these rubber bands look like they're going in the same spot. So I'm gonna maybe move this one over a little bit. So it doesn't matter how pretty it looks, just as long as the shirt is nice and tight in its design, and we will make it beautiful with the color. If you have any questions, don't be afraid to ask, and I will help as much as I can. Good luck!